Oh, Erika raging a Pinocchio Kirk at the memorial. Seriously. What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of In Cahoots Podcast. My name is Nikki. Today, we are going to get into this email that was sent to Candace Owens by a very wealthy woman who apparently was targeted by Stacy, Sheridan, and Erika Kirk, allegedly. Erika raging a Pinocchio Kirk, you are just going to keep me busy, aren't you? Before we get into this video, please make sure that you hit the subscribe button, like, comment, and share this video with your friends. Thank you to all the new subscribers. I see you. Welcome. Also, if you want to support this channel in any way, our Cash App and our Venmo, it's right there on the screen. And you can also follow us on X, Instagram, and TikTok. We're just going to get straight into the video today because this email is wild.
I got an email from a woman, Catholic woman, back in October, and the email did not sit right with me spiritually. There's a lot going on, though. I was obviously in survival mode mentally. I flagged the email. I filed it away in this inbox that I need to address this later. It's important. And I then decided to revisit it and to respond to the woman and to process what it was that had initially disturbed me. Now, I'm going to read you this email, and I am going to protect information of people today. I'm not going to be giving out any names because it doesn't actually change the story any. This person wrote, "Dear Candace, firstly, thank you and may God bless you and protect you for everything that you do. I pray for you every day and I thank God for you bringing the light of truth and Christ to this world. I attended the memorial and I ended up sitting next to Father Blank. He was actually the priest that flew with Erika to Utah. He was with her when they called her that he did not make it. He prayed over him. She actually asked him to pray the rosary there at the hospital, and he said the homily at the private funeral the Friday before the memorial. Now, in hindsight, it is strange to me that he was just put in the crowd at the memorial, but then again, he may have wanted that. I was at the memorial having zero personal or prior involvement or engagement with Turning Point USA or anyone from there, and I ended up sitting next to Father Blank and then with Erika at Mass the next day. I truly believe it is complete divine intervention. I prayed at the time and each day after exactly this. God, I see and feel you are leading me. I know there is a purpose. I don't know what it is or where you are taking me, but I'm following with complete surrender and faith to your holy will. I'll try.
Now, some would say, oh, what a coincidence. Like, you just happen to have sat with the priest. Well, didn't Erika say, she said a few times actually that there are no coincidences. She does not believe in them. There's no such thing as a coincidence. That's how Erika feels. So, I mean, if we believe what you say, Erika, then this was not a coincidence. Now, was it? Front of the class, Erika raging a Pinocchio Kirk. God.
I had to best email this with the relevant details, and I think that it may help. I was watching your podcast as I'm finishing up work, and I had to pause it when you played Alex Clark's interview because it honestly made my stomach hurt how untruthful what they were saying was. And I felt strong conviction to write you. I've never emailed a person I don't know in my life, but I'm following this conviction. I spent a good 8 hours sitting with Father Blank. I'm shy generally and was sitting with empty seats around me in the third row from the stage. So when I saw the priest walking by and looking like he didn't know where he was going, I said, "Hi, Father, I'm also Catholic. If you need a seat, this one's empty." Whether he wanted to or not, he sat down. He seemed like a holy priest, soft-spoken, but so sincere and genuine. He prayed in silence throughout and would smile and say, "Charlie wouldn't believe this," looking around the stadium. It was like he was going through a roller coaster of emotions right there. He shared stories of Charlie attending Mass and him spending a lot of time with Erika and Charlie. As Erika was talking on stage, Father held his hands towards her and was praying over her for protection and strength, tears going down his face from his stories and messages from Charlie that he showed me. It seemed like he was probably the closest person in that room to Charlie and to Erika, yet he was sitting with me like any other guest. Like I said, in hindsight, it just feels so off still. At some point during one of our conversations, we spoke about the daily mass at his parish because I wanted to go on Monday before I flew back to Chicago. He said, yes, at 8:30 a.m. there would be mass. To be honest, I wasn't sure if I was going to make it, but then I saw a text from him at 6:30 a.m. saying, hope to see you at mass. I knew it was my sign to just make it work and go. There were about 6 people at the 8:30 a.m. mass that Monday, the large church of blank. I sat in the first row and I felt God's presence so powerfully the entire mass that I couldn't stop the tears from flowing. I didn't cry at the memorial, but I wept quietly the entire mass. Afterward, I stayed to pray a while longer. Lights were starting to turn off and I looked back and I noticed a tall bodyguard in the back, along with Erika and a middle-aged woman that was sitting by her. At that moment, I went back to prayer and I said, God, if you'd like for her and I to connect or speak, please bring us together. If not, I will pray for her and I'll head out. I did not want to disrupt her, but also I had an intense knowledge of how much God's hand was present throughout the last 2 days. A minute or two later, as I was still in prayer, I had a tap on my shoulder by a woman. I believed it was an assistant. I can't remember what it is she does. She said, would you like to join Erika? Candace, at that moment, I thought, okay, God, I hear you. I've never had so much peace while blindly surrendering to God's will. Maybe I have, but I haven't ever seen it so clearly in action. I hugged Erika. I sat next to her in the last pew, and I just had the most beautiful conversation.
See, that's the sad part. If this woman was really being targeted and manipulated, it's so sad that she's thinking that God is making this happen, that God is working in this way when that may not have been the case. You know what I mean? Like, we think that things that may feel like a coincidence is actually God, but then you have like people preying on you in a negative way. Like, that is extremely unfortunate.
She mentioned that Charlie went to mass with her there and that Father Don would open the church up for him there often when Charlie just wanted to pray and reflect without being disrupted, and that he was with her the entire time from Arizona to Utah, in the hospital, etc. I have so much I could share on all of the little miracles, but I just want to say that today I felt compelled to send this to you. And so I'm listening to my conviction and sending this, and I am hoping that the Holy Spirit and both of our guardian angels will direct this message as it is intended per God's will. I have to say, I felt more realness from Erika in my exchange with her in that church than from the memorial. I saw her at Mass again on Tuesday. I ended up staying an extra day because I had relics from St. Paul II that my mom wanted to give Erika flown there. I coordinated someone to fly it to me, and then I gave it to her. Okay. I am going to end it there. Now, why do you think that that email disturbed me and made me file it? Just check in the chat here. What is not right with that email? And I'll tell you, it wasn't the person who wrote it that disturbed me. I blanked out over a name because I'm going to tell you now that the person who tapped on her shoulder, who she thought was an assistant, was Stacy Sheridan. That was what disturbed me about the email and made me file it right away, because I knew exactly what happened and I did not have the heart to tell her what had happened, because I know who Stacy Sheridan is. I know what I told Charlie about Stacy Sheridan. I've seen her work. I've been at events with her. I knew that Stacy would have only done that if the girl who was writing me this email had a boatload of money. Didn't even need to look up this person or the email. I knew that they had that girl clocked before she walked into the memorial. I don't think actually it was God that sat her where she was sat, 3 rows in. She was amazed by all of this. Oh, I don't even know anybody here. Here I am. I don't even know Charlie. I don't know anybody. Turning point of saying, here I am sitting at the front. And oh my gosh, this moment. And you know, Erika won't even speak to this after Turning Point USA, but Stacy Sheridan, would you like access to the grieving widow? I knew. And it breaks my heart to tell you this, but you were targeted. they would have known everything about you. That's how they work. Before everyone is seated, Stacy Sheridan's job literally is to know everything about that person, their net worth. She'll know your dad's net worth, your mom's net worth. She would tell Charlie, she whispered in Charlie's ear, that person runs so-and-so, blah, 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 blah. And then Charlie will go have the conversation. That was the whole reason they brought her on.
I mean, what does that say about Charlie Kirk then? I mean, you can't condemn one person and not the other. Like, what does that say about Charlie? You know, this is starting to get a little weird for me. I mean, if you know, Candace is clearly saying that Stacy Sheridan would do the same thing to Charlie, whisper in his ear, oh, this person is filthy rich and they can do this and that, put the battery in his back, and then he'd go talk to them, knowing that they are rich. Charlie knew that this person was rich and he needed or wanted money from them, so they had a conversation. What does that say about Charlie? Is Erika doing anything different at this point than what Charlie Kirk did? It's just starting to make me think a little bit, because nobody really questioned it then. They didn't question Charlie Kirk then. You know what I mean? But with Erika having the same exact person whispering in her ear that Charlie had whispering in his ear, what does that say? Tell me what you guys think.
Were involved. It was a conference event with some people that were orbiting around, like PBD's podcast. That part's not exactly that relevant to the story because they're marketing people. They're kind of doing their job. And that person then hooked her up directly with somebody that they said could help get her into the venue. She was so struck emotionally, stricken by the Charlie's assassination, like all of us were, that she just wanted to be a part of the memorial. And then just her luck, somebody said, oh yeah, I can get you in touch with someone that can get you through the door. And that's going to be great. And so I also just want to show you this because in retrospect, she reads it and she realizes that she was being manipulated, right? This is the message. Perfect. I'm going to introduce you via text to TPUSA's Blank, who traveled everywhere with Charlie, handling many of their big donors. Blank says that Erika has been getting more death threats every day. He's promised Erika that he will run point on raising money to cover the memorial service, which is going to cost approximately $6 million. Apparently, Trump had to get personally involved to secure the Cardinal Stadium, which was planning to host a large and lucrative RV show this weekend. So making up that lost revenue to the stadium is driving the high costs of this event. It's crazy what their team is going through. Right there, already emotional manipulation, right? This idea.
She's right. That is already in just one text message manipulation. Why are you bringing up money? You just said you were going to introduce her, to such and such and such and such. Why are we talking about like, oh no, we need money. This is so expensive. What does money have to do with this conversation? She wants to go to the memorial. What are we doing? Like that, I would have. The woman that's sending her this information, she seems so sweet and like I don't know her, but obviously, but just the way that Candace speaks about this person, she seems like she's like just one of those kind of genuine people that just, wants to find the good in everybody type of person. But yeah, I would have noticed that from the very beginning. Why are we talking about money?
Yeah, you have to rescue Erika. She's not safe. And oh, by the way, it's going to be so expensive, this thing. She doesn't even see, she just thinks, oh my God, amazing. I can't believe this. And doesn't realize that this is like, we'll get you in, but we're expecting you to kind of write a check. And she went, and then you know what happens next? She gets a little tap from Stacy Sheridan, who should burst into flames when she walks into a church, if we're being honest. Okay, this woman, but think about that. What moved Stacy Sheridan to tap on this?
At this point, Stacy Sheridan is like a professional tapper. I'm going to call her Tapper. Because what's up with all these taps? She's always tapping on Charlie Kirk's shoulder, tapping on random people's shoulders. Tap, 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 tap. That is Tapper.
This person's shoulder. Erika told her to do that. Erika gave her permission to do that. Why would she randomly go and say, tap, tap, would you like to sit with the grieving widow? That would be the most inappropriate thing ever. Ever. If you're sitting with your friend and your friend is grieving their husband, you would not be like, let me go up to a rando that I don't know and see if they just want to chill with her. You would want her to have privacy. Okay, there's a conversation that took place. Do not play us for dummies. Don't do it. There was a conversation that took place between Erika and Stacy Sheridan, conversations that I have seen before between Charlie and Stacy Sheridan about who that woman is. That woman was targeted in that church. Okay, I don't care. Cut it. Do whatever you want to say. Put it on Instagram. Oh my God, clutch your pearls. I can't believe. Yes, you better believe it. This woman was targeted in a church after mass. It makes me sick. What happens thereafter, I like even less. The intermediary, the person that delivered the relic, another top fundraiser.
What else could y'all have possibly done? This video is about to be long at this point. Like, what else? What else?
For Turning Point USA offered that he was going to be in the Chicago area. That's where she lives, in Illinois. And he says, hey, I'm going to be there already. Obviously, Charlie's from Chicago. I'm sure that was true. But I'd love to pop in and see you. And, you know, we're all committed in this faith journey together. And that happens. And he meets her and he meets her father. And while he meets her, he then invites her to the big gala, the one at Mar-a-Lago, where they're going to raise like $42 million. And here's that message. He says, thank you for organizing dinner. It was great to spend time on the road with great Catholics. I had a wonderful time. And thank you for all the prayers, especially for Erika. Can I call you tomorrow regarding the gala? We would love to have you guys involved, but we can talk further. Erika repeated how much she loved meeting you. Again, why does this feel to me like manipulation? Like a bit of Erika really needed you. You know, you were sent from God to Erika with Stacy Sheridan in the middle of it. Okay. Well, here's what happens next. She gets a little nudge when she does go down to Mar-a-Lago. She knows nothing about Mar-a-Lago and Palm Beach, and I find this part to be quite funny.
Well, all right. That was a lot. I mean, if this is all true, man, I can't even imagine being in that woman's shoes. And I wonder if she had already given them any money at all. Like, had she donated? I mean, I'm pretty sure at Trump's gala, you had to write a check or two, but I wonder if she had given them money just outside of even that. Like when she got the text message talking about the $6 million and how expensive that was, I wonder if she actually sent them money, you know, just to try to help them out a little bit. But I mean, that's a shame. And like I said earlier, I do feel for her because it does. People can be just really disappointing. They can be really disappointing. And the fact that she truly thought that God was, you know, directing her path, and then to find out or to realize that this was all planned out. They had this, from what Candace says, allegedly, they had her whole background figured out already, because that's what Tapper does. Stacy Sheridan does that. You know, she figures out who you are. Like when they said that the priest, and if the priest is in on it, then I mean that's even more crazy. I mean, I know that there's a lot of corruption in churches these days, but like if the priest was in it too, because for instance, like in the beginning when she said that the priest looked a little lost, you know, didn't really know where to sit. Maybe he was looking for her. Maybe he really couldn't find her. Maybe they just kind of showed the priest a picture of her and was like, go find her, go sit next to her. Or maybe they pointed her out from a distance and he didn't recognize who she was up close. So he just kind of kept wandering. Because what if she didn't say, hey, do you want to sit next to me? Like, you know what I mean? So, and like I said, if Candace says that she would have, Tapper would have known her whole background before she even stepped foot in that memorial, I mean, you just never know. That's crazy to me, you know. And then another question that I have is, well, it raises questions for me. The Stacy Sheridan lady, I mean, Candace just said that she basically doesn't like this woman because of how she makes money and how she can smell money. And she would do the same thing with Charlie. And Charlie would go have that conversation. Charlie would go secure that donation or whatever the case may be. It just seems like the chase for money has always been there. So I'm not saying anything bad about Charlie Kirk, but at the same time, I mean, you got to call a spade a spade. So what does that say about Charlie Kirk in that sense? If she's not doing anything different than what she was already doing with Charlie, now Charlie's gone, so she's going to keep doing her job, but now she just has to, point this energy towards Erika, and Erika's doing it too. Are we missing something? Like I said, you can't condemn one person and not the other. If we're going to condemn Erika Kirk for something like this, and I do understand, don't get me wrong, I do understand that it's ridiculous because this was at Charlie Kirk's memorial. Like, you're there to grieve. You're there to speak about the happy times that you had with him and, how much you miss and love him and all of that. You're not there to try to target people to get money. Now, the Stacy Sheridan person, that's all she thinks about. Doesn't sound like she was too much grieving Charlie. She was trying to get the bag. Now, if we set aside this memorial for a second, okay, Candace, for her to just say, Stacy did the same thing with Charlie will have the conversation. We can't condemn Erika for doing that exact same thing and not condemn Charlie if this is such a bad woman and it's such dirty money. Why was Charlie dealing with her then? Like, I don't know. You guys tell me what you think. I don't know, but I'm going to wrap this video up. So please make sure that you hit the like button. Subscribe. We are on a road to 3,000 subscribers, and then we're going to go up from there. Make sure that you also turn on your post notifications so that you know every single time we post. And also comment. I am dying to hear your comments. Let me know what you think. Give me your opinion. This is a crazy story, a crazy email, so I do want to hear what you guys have to say. And if you do want to support this channel in any way, we do have our Cash App and our Venmo right there on the screen. And you can always follow us on X, TikTok, or Instagram. Until next time, my name is Nikki. This has been In Cahoots Podcast. See you later. Bye.